Okay, so the first thing you want to do is tune your guitar to drop D, because Midsummer's Daydream is in drop D tuning. So the easiest way I find to do that is just to pluck the E and the D and tune down until they match. They're about there. Until you get used to that, you can always use a tuner. Easiest way for me to go if I were to go on stage or something, which I don't. Alright, so that is the harmonic intro. You're going to start by going up to the 12th fret, hitting the E string, and then you're going to do D, A, E, and you're going to jump down to the 7th fret, do B, G, D, B again, then you're going to go up to the 12th fret, do B, G, D, and you're going to go to the 7th fret again, but this time you're going to go D, A, E, D again, and you're going to play it all again, but when you get to the 7th fret on these notes, you're going to change it up. You're just going to strike them all at once. And you play that twice through, and that's the whole harmonic intro. Okay, so that is the cool little lick right after the harmonics, and what you're going to do is hammer on the B string from the 7th to the 8th to the 10th, and then pull off those same notes, and then pull off from the 9 to the 7 to the 6 on the G string. Then you're going to hit the 9th fret on the D string, and hammer back on the same notes on the G string. And then you're basically going to do the exact same thing, but up here on the 4th fret on the D string. And instead of jumping up a fret when you switch strings, you're going to stay in the same fret. And then you're going to pluck the E string nice and hard. One more time. Okay, so this next part can be a little bit tricky, but it's not too bad. This is what it's going to sound like. Okay, so the way you're going to play that is you're going to go up here to the 10th and the 11th fret on the B and the G string, and you're going to hit the B, G, and D, B, G, and A, move up to the 8th and 9th fret, B, G, and D this time, then you're going to put both fingers on the 7th fret, B, G, and A again, and then you're going to move up to the 5th and 6th fret, pluck both strings, then the A string, pluck both strings again, and slide to the 3rd and 4th position while it's ringing. Then you're going to pluck them again, and then you're going to put your ring finger on the 7th fret and pluck the A and the D, and then pluck the B, G, and D, slide on up to the 5th fret position, and then you're going to hammer on the B string from the 5th fret to the 7th fret and pull off, and then you're going to hit the 7th fret on the G string, and then hit the open A, D, and then you're going to pull off from the 9th fret to the 5th fret, and then pluck the B string on the 5th fret on the B string, and then you're going to end that little bit with the open E. Okay, so you're going to do that again, but the second time around it's going to change once you get up here, this general area. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to do the same thing. You get there, and now it changes. Instead of plucking B, G, and D, you're going to pluck both the B and G at the same time, and then the D and the A. And then move up, do it again. And now, we're going to bar on the 7th fret from the D down, and slowly strum and do a hammer on this from the 7th to the 8th fret of the B string. And then you're here on the 2nd fret. You're going to bar again, the same strings. You're going to strum, then do a ghost note, ghost strum, and then strum again, and hammer on from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret of the D string. So it's going to sound like this. Then you're going to do a C shape, but on the 3rd fret. So it's 3rd fret B, 4th fret G, 5th fret D, and it's going to sound like this. And I'll let you figure that out because I'm bad at explaining strumming, but it's like that. And then you're going to hit the E string, and then bar these again for convenience, or at least that's what I do. And you're going to hammer on a few times, hammer-ons and pull-offs. I'm calling hammer-ons and pull-offs together hammer-ons, just because. So you're going to do 7th to the 8th on the 7th to the 8th on the B string, 7th to the 9th on the G string, 7th to the 9th on the D string, and then 2nd to the 4th on the D string. And when you pull off from the 4th to the 2nd, you're also going to pull off the 2nd to the open. And then you're going to do that strumming again with the same chords. And you're going to hit the E string again. So this time you're just going to hammer on, and then hit the G and the D, and 10th fret of the E string. And then do the strumming again. So it's going to sound like this. Now this part gets a little tough. I had to have your mother help me with this part. She slowed it down for me and figured out the right notes. 9th fret of the E string, and then 7th fret of the B and G. You're going to do this shape. So I'm holding the 6th fret of the G string and the 5th fret of the B and the E. So, and then you're going to hammer on from the 5th fret to the 7th fret of the E string. Just to hammer on though. And then you're going to hit the 9th fret of the E string. And then 10th fret of the B string. And you're going to do the harmonics from the, I think it's the G, the D, G, and B. And that's that section. Okay, so this next part isn't a lot easier to explain, but I think it's a lot easier to play. You're going to put your forefinger on the 10th fret of the A string and your ring finger on the 12th fret of the B string. You're going to pluck those, and you're going to move up 2 frets, pluck the 12th and the 14th, move up 2 more frets, except this time your ring finger is only going to move up 1 fret, so it's going to be the 12th on the A string, and the 14th on the A string and the 15th on the B string. And this time you're going to pluck both, and then pluck the open G, and then pluck the B, and then pluck both again. So it's going to sound like this. You're going to move down 2 frets, so you're on the 12th and the 14th again, and do that same thing. Move down 2 more frets, do the same thing. Move down to the 8th and 9th, and do the same thing. Oh, sorry, 9th and the 10th. Now you're going to move down to the 7th and the 8th, and you're just going to pluck them. You're not going to do the extra notes. And the 5th and the 7th, same thing, just pluck them. And then the 4th and the 5th, and now you're going to do the extra notes again. And then the 2nd and the 3rd, and you're going to do the extra notes again. And now this part's kind of tough. I struggle with it on the classical. On an electric it'll be pretty simple, but it's a bunch of hammer-ons and pull-offs. So what you're going to do is you're going to pluck the A, the G, and the B all at once for this first one. And you're going to hammer on from the 2nd fret of the B string to the 3rd fret to the 5th fret. And then you're going to pull off all the way to the open, and then hammer back on and pull off again. So it's going to sound like this. And then you're only you're going to need to pluck the G string for this next one. You're going to hammer on to the 4th fret and pull off all the way to the open of the G string. And then hammer on again, pull off again. And this time you're going to start on the 4th fret, hammer on the 5th fret, pull off to the 2nd fret, and then this time, so after you do that, you're going to hammer onto the 4th and pull off to the 0. And you're not going to do the extra pull off that time. And then this time, you're going to go from the 2nd to the 4th to the 0. So, 2nd to the 4th to the 0, no extra pull off. So, one more time. And that's that section. For this next section, there's going to be some small changes from the section we played earlier, but it's going to be very similar. And I'll play it once through and then show you the differences. So that's what it sounds like, and I don't know if you caught the minor differences, but I'm sure you caught the bigger differences. So let's go through it. And just like before, you're going to do this finger picking pattern. This is one small change. Instead of just plucking this string, you're going to go, you're going to hit that string, and then you're also going to add the 7th fret on the G string. And you're going to go to the next part. This is kind of the same, but instead of going up here after you do this part, you're going to pluck G and the D. Pluck the G and the D. And hit the 10th fret on the E string. And then you're going to do that same strumming pattern with the same chords as before. And you're going to pluck the E string. And this is where it gets fun, I think. You're going to bar the B and the E, and then you're going to hammer on just the B. So bar the B and the E on the 10th fret, and then hammer on just the B on the 12th fret. And you're going to do the same thing, but up here on the 5th fret and the 7th fret. And then the same thing, except this time you're on the D and G string. So it's going to sound like this. And then you move up to the 2nd and 4th fret. Except this time when you pull off to the open also. Strumming again. So you're going to go up here again to the 10th and the 12th. Except this time, after you do that, you're going to slide from the 11th to the 13th. Sorry, 11th to the 14th. And then hit the 14th on the E string. So 11th to the 14th on the G string. And then hit the 14th on the E string. And then do that strumming again. And then I think from here, you're going to do a bit of extra strumming, so. So you're going to do the same chord shape, similar strumming patterns, but on the 9th for the ring finger, 9th fret, and then 7th fret. Okay. And then if that stretch is too big for you, from the 5th on the E to the 9th or 10th on the E, you can just go back to this chord. And now you do this whole pattern again. Okay, so the ending is almost exactly the same as the beginning as far as the harmonics and the cool little lick go, except he adds something to the end of the cool little lick. So I'll play through it once and then show you the extra bit at the end. pretty much the same up until a certain point. Normally, in the beginning, you would hit the E string right there, but you're not going to do that here. What you're going to do instead is hammer on again from the 4th to the 5th to the 7th and pull off to the 4th and slide to the 2nd while it's still ringing. And then hammer on to the 4th and then pull off to the open. And now you're going to hammer on from the 4th to the 5th to the 2nd to the open. And then he does this. Sorry. And he ends it like that, but I like to add a little bit extra. So that bit you're going to bar from the D string down on the 2nd fret, and then you're going to hammer on. You're going to strum twice and hammer on the 3rd fret of the B string and the 4th fret of the D string. And then what I do is I slowly strum from the A down, and then pluck back up to the D string, and then strum and pull off from the 5th to the 2nd on the E string. And then strum twice. And then I just pluck the E and the D because this is actually a D. Because you're in drop D tuning. And that's that. Sorry, I am terrible at teaching and editing and all that, but maybe I'll get better in the future.